Hey guys, I'm making this video to inform you about the new Tata Technologies IPO and whether you should invest in this IPO, whether you should apply for the IPO. And this video will help you in making a intelligent decision. So this is mainly a educational video. Don't treat it as a financial advice. That's my disclaimer to you. This video is for educational purposes and do make an informed decision and do watch the video till the end. Share it with other investors as well because this will help this video to reach as many investors as it can. Do hit the like button. And also, if you still do not have a DEMAT account or don't know how to invest in this IPO, then I've put a link in the description. You can click on that link and then you can open a DEMAT account and then you can apply for this IPO very easily. So do watch this video till the end and then make an informed decision.
Okay, so I've made a small presentation for you to explain to you that what is this company, why is there so much traction around this IPO, and what do they do, what's the key details of this IPO, what are the strengths and weaknesses. We're going to cover that as well. So let's go and first understand what is this company and what do they do. Mainly, Tata Technologies is a subsidiary of Tata Motors, and this is the first IPO which is coming from the Tata Group after 19 years. The last one was TCS in 2004. And Tata Technologies is mainly catering to the automotive sector, and it is a OEM. So the companies, manufacturers who give their equipments to build automotive cars, for example, or trucks. So this Tata Technology is providing services related to software or technology to these automotive OEMs. Biggest client for this company is Tata Motors and JLR. So JLR is Jaguar Land Rover, and they are among the top 5 clients for Tata Technology. And if you know, there is a company called VinFast from Vietnam, if I'm not wrong, which is doing quite well. It was in the news in a few months back. That company is also a client of Tata Technologies. Now the key details for you. Firstly, the IPO has opened today and you have time till 24th November to apply for this IPO. Then the allotment status you will get to know by 30th of November, and the shares will come into your DEMAT account by 4th of December. And the listing will happen on 5th of December. So on 5th of December, the company will list on the stock market, and you can apply in multiples of 30 shares. And the price band is 475 to 500. So you would be approximately, if you buy 30 shares, it should be somewhere close to around 15,000. Then the IPO size is basically 3042. And I need to tell you how, what all is the categories in this. So 10% is for the Tata Motors shareholders. So if you're a Tata Motors shareholder, there is a different segment for you, and 10% of allotment is for the Tata Motors shareholders. 50 is set aside for the QIB, the qualified institutions, and then 15% for the non-institution investors, and 35% is for the retail investors. So 35% is for the retail investors, and if you are a shareholder of Tata Motor share, then you would come in the investor category. Now the next point is the financials. So the financials are quite strong, I think. This company is doing quite well, and for that reason, I think there is a lot of traction around this company. If I tell you the first point, in the 9 months of FY21 to 9 months of FY22, the EBITDA margin has increased from 6% to 19.2%. Now, what is EBITDA margin? EBITDA margin is earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. So basically, this shows you how well they are managing their cost of making their product. So basically, your sales minus the cost of your goods sold, that will be covered here, and that tells you how well you are doing your sales, and then how well are you controlling your cost of making that product. And that has gone up by from 6% to 19.2%. So their margin is also growing. 98% of the revenue in the 9 months of FY22 revenue came from the repeat clients. So that means that their customer base is satisfied and their customers are satisfied. For that reason, they are getting sales from repeat clients. The return on equity and the return on capital employed is also good. Usually what you see in the IPOs now, the big IPOs, that the company is not making any money. So you really can't say anything about the return on equity or the return on capital employed. But here the return on equity is 17% in the last 3 years, if you look at last year average. And the return on capital employed is 25%. And the company is positive cash flow in the last 2 of the last 3 financial years. And one thing I want to tell you is that this industry, there is a intense competition, but still this company is doing well. They are earning, so they are not a loss making company. So that speaks for this company. And the revenue has grown at an annual rate of 36%, and net profit has grown at a rate of 62%. So that number is quite big, and this is the last 3 years. So over the last 3 years, revenue has increased by 36% and net profit has increased by 62%. And as I told you, the operating margin is close to 15% in the last 3 years. The last point is quite important for me. The price to earnings ratio is at 28.3. And if you look at the average of other peers in this industry, that comes to around 67.1. So the price to earnings is lower than the client is lower in the industry. So that says that this is fairly valued or undervalued in as per its peers. So that also speaks that the IPO is coming at a good price. So that is good, and I think that is a positive factor if we look at the financials. Now talking about the weaknesses first, because I wanted to discuss the weakness first. So the top weakness that I saw was that there was a lot of dependence on a few clients. So for example, if you look, Tata Motors and Jaguar Land Rover contributed 40% to the services revenue. So the services, there are two segments, services and technology. Services segment, 40% of the revenue was from Tata Motors and Jaguar Land Rover. And that is from the last current financial year, 9 months period. So that is quite big, that the company is depending on a few clients. And if these few clients take a hit on their financial or their business takes a hit, then in turn it would affect this company. So that is a weakness for this company. Then the second one is the foreign currency exposure. So the first 9 months of last year, foreign currency stood at 65% of its earnings. So from foreign currency exposure,
And that
if you
will
look
have
at
65%
65%
was
was
from
from the
doing
foreign
business.
clients.
So
Now
that
the
is
third
quite
one
big.
is
The revenue
also a
that
big
you're
one.
getting is 65%
No
from
money
foreign
from
clients.
this IPO
So
will
that
go
is a
into
big
the
number
business,
because
it will go
you
towards
are
the
dependent on
promoters,
how the foreign
because
currency is
promoters are
doing.
selling their stake in this IPO. No money is going into the business or for the business. It is 100% offer for sale. So that is also important point, that it is the promoters who are selling their stake and money and selling their stake and giving it to the public, and then the public will buy the stake, and then no money will go into the business. Fourth point, that is also a weakness, that there is intense competition in the industry. And yes, another point is that many clients are there from startup industry, and startups are full of uncertainties. You don't know about their funding plan, their credit worthiness, so it is risky, and in turn that is a weakness for a company like Tata Technologies. Now talking about the strength, this company has deep expertise in the auto industry. Their clients are strong. So one way, yes, they are dependent on top few clients, but the clients that they have a strong company like VinFast, Tata Motors, Jaguar Land Rover. They are strong clients. Now talking about the valuation, as I just told you, this is fairly valued. If the IPO, if you look at the upper price band of rupees 500, then that means that the PE, the price to earnings ratio, is close to 32. And if you look at the other peers, KPIT Tech price to earnings would be somewhere around 108, and Tata Elxsi would be somewhere around 68, and the L&T LTTS that would be somewhere around 40. So that is telling you that this company is still priced lower than its peers. It is undervalued. So the price at which the company is taking out their IPO, that is the best thing. And for that reason, I think there is a lot of traction. If they would have got it at a higher price, then that would have affected their valuations, and the interest could not have been that much. And the brand name Tata Technologies is a big name in itself. It has a name attached to it, and then that name is Tata. So Tata is a strong brand name, and for that reason, there is a lot of traction for this IPO. Now discussing about my verdict. Yes, I think there will be opening gains. So today itself, the IPO, all the QIB, the retail investor, the shareholders, all the categories are fully subscribed on the first day. So that tells you that there is a lot of attraction in this IPO. And the last time that I checked, it was the gray market premium was 70%. So the listing could be 70% higher as per the current data. So 70% higher, the listing could happen. So for that reason, the IPO is fully subscribed for now, but there is no harm. Just give it a shot and try for your application and hope if it goes through, then you might get opening gains. And if you prefer opening gains, then you can just book after listing. But if you're a long-term holder, then I would say that even if you don't get, and if you are looking at long-term, then post the IPO. If you see any dips, then yes, this is a good IPO. This is a good company that you could look at. And if you are invested in Tata Motors already, then I would say then as a shareholder, don't apply in or don't buy these shares. Tata Motors shareholders, yes, there is a different category, so you can apply for the IPO. But then I personally, I am a Tata Motors shareholder, and I'm giving you a disclaimer that this video is only for educational purposes. But what I am going to do here is that as I'm a Tata Motors investor, I would apply in the Tata Motors shareholder category. If I get it, it's fine. If I don't get it, then I won't buy it after listing, because I am already exposed to Tata Motors. And if I also have this stock in my portfolio, then I'm adding to my risk. And if I add to my risk, if something happens to Tata Motors, then this company will also see a negative effect. If there is a negative effect in Tata Motors, it will affect this company, and that in turn will lead to a higher risk for my portfolio. So for opening gains, yes, you should apply. If you don't have Tata Motors, then you should apply. But if you already have Tata Motors, then apply in the shareholder category. But then if you don't get it, then I would say I personally wouldn't buy this stock later after listing. So yes, this was my whole video which I wanted to share with you. If you like this video, do hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. See you in the upcoming videos.